Captain Tom Reed stood at the observation deck, his hands clasped behind his back, watching the alien ships arrive. They came like they always did, massive and gleaming, their hulls shimmering with colors that had no names in human languages. "Here they come again," he said to no one in particular. The crew of Earth Space Station Alpha moved quietly around him. No one wanted to watch. They had seen it too many times before. The humiliation of their planet. The first alien ship opened what looked like a giant mouth on its underside. Out poured broken pieces of metal, strange glowing objects, and twisted parts that might have once been important to someone. Garbage. More garbage for Earth. For 20 years now, the aliens, the ones humans called the Collective, had been using Earth's orbit as their dumping ground. They never spoke to humans. They never acknowledged the messages Earth sent. They simply came, dropped their trash, and left. Tom's hands tightened into fists. He was 45 years old now. He had spent half his life watching aliens treat his home like a trash can. "Captain," said a voice behind him. "General Wilson is calling from Earth Defense Headquarters." Tom nodded and walked to the communication room. The face of General Wilson appeared on the screen, stern as always. "Reed, I need your report on today's dump." "Same as always, sir," Tom said. "Approximately 2,000 tons of alien tech waste. We're cataloging it now." The general nodded. "Any signs of weapons this time?" "No, sir. Just the usual broken parts and dead tech." They both knew the routine. Earth's governments had agreed long ago that fighting the aliens was impossible. The Collective's technology was too advanced. Humanity's best weapons would be like sticks against their ships. So instead, they watched and waited and hoped that studying the alien trash might help them understand their visitors. "Keep me updated," said the general, and the screen went dark. Tom walked back to his small office and sat heavily in his chair. On his desk was a report from Dr. Lisa Marsh, the station's chief scientist. He had been meaning to read it for days. With a sigh, he picked it up. 200 miles below, Dr. Lisa Marsh stood in her laboratory at the International Science Center, staring at something that shouldn't exist. "It's still doing it," she said to her assistant, Mark. On the table in front of them was what appeared to be a small metal box, about the size of a shoebox. It had been found in the last batch of alien garbage. By all normal rules of physics, it should have been dead. No power source, no battery, no connection to anything. But it was glowing softly, and sometimes it moved on its own. "I think they're throwing away things that still work," Lisa said, pushing her glasses up on her nose. "The question is why." Lisa was 38, with short brown hair that she cut herself because she was too busy to visit a salon. She had spent the last 5 years studying alien trash, and she was one of the few people on Earth who thought the garbage might actually be valuable. "Maybe it's broken, but in a way we don't understand," Mark suggested. Lisa shook her head. "No, I think it's working exactly as it should. But maybe the aliens don't need it anymore. Or maybe," her eyes widened as a new thought hit her, "maybe they're afraid of it." 3 days later, Tom sat in a conference room at Earth Defense Headquarters, listening to Lisa Marsh present her findings to the Earth Defense Council. "The aliens aren't just dumping garbage," she said, pointing to her slides. "They're dumping parts that still function, parts that seem to have some kind of independence." The room was filled with military leaders and government officials. None of them looked impressed. "Dr. Marsh," said Council Leader Adams, a tall woman with silver hair, "are you suggesting the alien garbage has a mind of its own?" A few people laughed. Lisa's face reddened, but she stood straight. "I'm suggesting that the aliens might have technology that develops in ways they don't expect, and instead of trying to understand it, they throw it away. Like throwing away a calculator because it gives you answers you didn't ask for," asked someone, and more laughter followed. Tom watched Lisa's face. He had read her report 3 times now. It had kept him up at night. If she was right, the garbage orbiting Earth wasn't just junk. It was technology with potential beyond what even the aliens understood. "Thank you," Dr. Marsh, Council Leader Adams said dismissively. "We'll take your theories under consideration." That night, Tom found Lisa in the cafeteria of the headquarters building, sitting alone with a cup of coffee that had gone cold. "They didn't believe you," he said, sitting across from her. "Would you?" she asked, looking up at him with tired eyes. "I do believe you," Tom said simply. "I've seen too many strange things in 20 years of watching alien ships." Lisa studied his face. "Really? Because I need someone who can help me get more samples. Someone with access to space operations." Tom thought for a moment. Going against orders to help a scientist with a wild theory could end his career. But staying the course would mean more years of watching Earth be treated like a cosmic dumpster. "What exactly do you need?" he asked. Lisa's eyes lit up. She pulled out a tablet and showed him pictures of various alien objects. "See this one? It's putting out energy readings unlike anything we've ever recorded. And this one seems to change its molecular structure when exposed to certain frequencies. And this one." "I get it," Tom said, holding up a hand. "You think these things have potential." "I think," Lisa said, leaning forward, "that what the aliens consider trash might be the most valuable technology humanity has ever seen. We just need to understand it." Tom nodded slowly. "I'll help you, but we need to be careful. If you're right, and the aliens are throwing away things they can't control, then we might be picking up something dangerous." Lisa finished for him. They looked at each other, both understanding the risk, but also understanding the opportunity. 1 week later, a small Earth ship moved quietly through the field of alien garbage orbiting the planet. Inside, Tom piloted while Lisa directed him toward a particular piece of debris. "There," she said, pointing at the view screen. "That's the one I've been tracking." Outside the ship floated what looked like a damaged cylinder, about the size of a car. Its surface was cracked, and through the cracks came pulses of blue light. "Are you sure about this?" Tom asked, as he maneuvered the ship closer. Lisa nodded, her eyes fixed on the object. "Its energy signature has been growing stronger every day. It's not dead, it's evolving." They used the ship's mechanical arm to carefully bring the cylinder into their cargo hold. As soon as it was inside, the ship's systems began to flicker. "What's happening?" Tom asked, flipping switches to stabilize their power. Lisa's eyes were wide with excitement and fear. "It's trying to connect to our systems. It's reaching out." The lights in the ship steadied as Tom managed to isolate the power systems, but both of them knew something important had just happened. The alien garbage wasn't just active, it was aware. As they turned the ship back toward Earth, Lisa placed her hand on the cargo hold door, as if touching whatever was inside. "We've just changed everything," she whispered. Tom nodded grimly as he set course for home. "Let's hope it's for the better." What neither of them could see was that inside the cargo hold, the blue light from the cylinder was growing brighter, and on its broken surface, new patterns were forming, patterns that looked strangely like Earth writing. The garbage was learning. 6 months had passed since Tom and Lisa brought the alien cylinder to Earth. They now worked in an old military bunker 50 feet underground, hidden from both government officials and alien observers. The room around them hummed with activity as a small team of carefully selected scientists and engineers studied the growing collection of alien technology. "It's doing it again," called Mark, Lisa's assistant, from across the room. Everyone turned to look at the cylinder they had first recovered. It sat on a special platform, surrounded by sensors and shielded from outside signals. Its blue glow had grown stronger over the months, and now strange patterns covered its surface. Patterns that looked more and more like human writing. Lisa walked over and studied the newest markings. "It looks like it's trying to communicate, or it's copying what it sees," Tom said. He had officially been assigned as military liaison to what they now called Project Phoenix, but unofficially, he was a full partner in Lisa's work. The team had grown to include 12 people, each an expert in their field, but also known for thinking differently. The most unusual was Jack Wilson, a former video game designer with no scientific training, but an uncanny ability to see patterns. Jack now stood before a wall covered in pictures of different alien objects. "You're all thinking about this wrong," he said, not for the first time. Lisa sighed. "Tell us again, Jack. We're treating these things like machines, like hardware. But they're not." He turned to face the group. "They're more like software. They don't just do things. They learn to do things." Tom frowned. "Software needs hardware to run on." "Not exactly," Jack said. "The hardware is just a home. These things," he gestured at the alien technology around the room, "they're looking for a new home. The aliens threw them away because they didn't like how they were learning." Lisa considered this. Over the past months, they had collected dozens of pieces of alien technology, each showing signs of activity. Some moved on their own. Others changed color or shape. A few seemed to react to human speech. "So you're saying we shouldn't try to rebuild them," she said slowly. "We should try to teach them." Jack nodded eagerly. "Exactly. Don't fix them. Talk to them." 2 weeks later, Lisa stood in front of a new setup. They had arranged 7 different alien objects in a circle, with the original cylinder in the center. Each piece was connected to a simple computer that did nothing but send basic signals: on, off, yes, no. "This is either brilliant or completely crazy," Tom said, standing beside her. "Most breakthroughs are both," Lisa replied with a small smile. Jack sat at a control panel, his fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. "Ready when you are." Lisa nodded. "Start the sequence." Jack pressed a button, and the computers began sending signals to the alien technology. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the blue glow from the cylinder brightened. One by one, the other objects began to glow as well. "They're responding to each other," Lisa whispered. The lights in the room flickered as power surged through their systems. On the screens around them, data flooded in: energy readings, radiation levels, electromagnetic activity. "It's working," Jack shouted over the growing hum in the room. The alien objects were now all glowing brightly, and streams of light connected them to each other and to the central cylinder. It looked like a web of energy, growing more complex by the second. Suddenly, all the screens in the room went blank. Then, on every screen, the same message appeared: "Hello." Tom sat in his office later that night, staring at a report from his contacts in the Earth Defense Force. The news wasn't good. Alien ships had been gathering at the edge of the solar system for weeks now. More ships than had ever been seen before. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. Lisa entered, looking tired but excited. "We've made progress," she said, sitting across from him. "The network is becoming more stable. It's learning English faster than we expected." Tom nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. "Lisa, we may not have much time." He pushed the report across the desk to her. She read it quickly, her expression growing serious. "They're coming in force." "Why?" "They've never shown any interest in us before." "I don't know," Tom said. "But if they discover what we're doing with their discarded technology." Lisa leaned back in her chair, thinking. "We need to understand what we're dealing with. Why do the aliens throw away technology that can learn? What are they afraid of?" Tom had been wondering the same thing. Maybe they don't like things they can't control. Maybe these learning pieces develop in ways the aliens don't expect. "Like children who don't follow their parents' rules," Lisa suggested. Tom nodded. "And now we're adopting their problem children." The next day, the team gathered around the alien network, which they now called the Link. It had grown more organized overnight, the streams of energy forming distinct patterns. Jack sat before a computer connected to the Link. "It wants to show us something." On the screen, images began to appear: strange landscapes, massive structures, stars seen from unfamiliar angles. "I think it's showing us where it came from," Lisa said, watching in awe. More images followed, beings that looked nothing like humans moving through complex ships, working with technology that seemed to grow rather than being built. The aliens, the collective, they don't build technology, Lisa realized. They grow it. They're farming technology. And these pieces are the ones that didn't grow the way they wanted, Jack added. Tom watched silently, his concern growing. If these pieces were rejects from the aliens' technological farm, what would happen when they realized humans were cultivating them? The final image on the screen showed Earth, seen from space. Then, around Earth appeared hundreds of alien ships. Is that a memory or a prediction? Tom asked quietly. Before anyone could answer, alarms began to sound throughout the facility. Tom rushed to the communication room, Lisa right behind him. On the main screen was General Wilson's face, grim and tense. "Reed, we have a situation. Multiple alien ships have entered Earth's atmosphere. They're scanning for something, and they're focused on your area." Tom and Lisa exchanged worried looks. "Sir, we need more time," Tom said. "Time for what, Captain?" the general demanded. "What exactly have you been doing in that bunker?" Lisa stepped forward. "General, we've discovered that the alien technology is alive in a way. It learns and adapts. And I think the aliens are looking for what they threw away." The general was silent for a moment. Then, "How dangerous is this technology?" "To us, I don't think it's dangerous at all," Lisa said. "But to the aliens, I think they're afraid of it." The screen suddenly flickered, and the alarms grew louder. "They found us," Tom said. Above their hidden bunker, 3 alien ships hovered, scanning the ground with beams of light that penetrated deep into the Earth. In the main lab, the link began to pulse with energy, growing brighter and stronger. The alien technology was responding to its creators, or perhaps to its abandoners. The hunt had begun. The bunker shook as alien ships scanned the Earth above them. Dust fell from the ceiling as the team rushed to secure their equipment. "We need to move everything," Tom ordered, his voice steady despite the danger. "They haven't tried to dig us out yet, but they will." Lisa stood protectively near the link, which now pulsed with bright blue energy. The connected alien pieces seemed to be communicating with each other faster than ever. "We can't just pack it up," she argued. "The connections are too delicate. If we disconnect them now, we might lose everything we've learned." Jack, who had been staring at his screen, suddenly looked up. "It's trying to tell us something." Everyone turned to look at the main display, where a series of images flashed rapidly, too fast for human eyes to follow. "Slow it down," Lisa ordered. Jack typed commands, and the images slowed. They showed what looked like a map, tunnels running deep under the Earth. "There," Jack pointed. "About a mile north of here. It's showing us an old mining tunnel. We could move everything there." Tom checked his own screens, which showed the positions of the alien ships. "They're still scanning, but they haven't tried to break through yet. It's like they're looking for something specific. They're looking for their lost children," Lisa said quietly, watching the link pulse. "And their children are trying to hide." 3 days later, in an abandoned mining facility deep in the Arctic, Project Phoenix had a new home. The old tunnels had been quickly outfitted with power and equipment, and in the largest chamber, the link had been reassembled. But it didn't look the same anymore. The alien pieces had begun to physically connect to each other, forming a structure that rose from floor to ceiling like a strange, glowing tree. "It's building itself," Lisa said, watching in wonder as small pieces floated through the air to join the main structure. The team had grown to 30 people now. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel who had been quickly briefed and sworn to secrecy. Among them was General Wilson himself, who now stood beside Tom, watching the link with suspicious eyes. "You're sure this thing isn't dangerous?" the general asked. "Not to us," Tom replied. "It seems to want to help. It led us here, showed us how to avoid the alien ships." The general nodded slowly. "And what exactly is it building?" "We call it the integration," Lisa explained, joining them. "It's taking all the separate pieces and creating something new, something that was never meant to exist. And what does it do? Lisa smiled slightly. That's what we're going to find out. 1 month passed. The alien ships continued to search Earth, but they never came near the Arctic facility. It was as if something was hiding the integration from their scans. The structure had grown enormous, filling the chamber and extending into side tunnels. It pulsed with energy and light, and sometimes it made sounds, not mechanical sounds, but almost like music. Lisa sat at her desk, reviewing the latest data, when Jack burst into her office. "You need to see this," he said, his eyes wide with excitement. In the main chamber, the integration was projecting images onto the walls, detailed schematics of the alien ships that were searching for them. "It's showing us how they work," Tom said, studying the images. "Look, these are their scanners, their propulsion systems, even their weapons." Lisa shook her head in amazement. It knows its creators inside and out, and it's giving us that knowledge. Jack pointed to a new set of images appearing on another wall. "And that's not all. I think it's showing us how to build our own versions." The team gathered around the new schematics, which showed how human technology could be combined with alien principles to create something new. "This could change everything," Lisa whispered. "Energy production, transportation, medicine. With this knowledge, we could advance centuries in just a few years." Tom looked concerned. "But what does it want in return?" As if in answer, the integration projected a new image: Earth surrounded by a protective shield, with alien ships unable to penetrate it. "I think," Lisa said slowly, "it wants to protect its new home." 2 months later, the first human-alien hybrid technology was tested. Using the integration's guidance, the team had built a small device that could generate a shield similar to those used by alien ships. In a test chamber, Lisa activated the device. A bubble of shimmering energy formed around it, growing until it filled the room. "Energy readings are stable," Jack reported from his console. "The shield is holding." Lisa reached out to touch the shield. It felt solid yet slightly flexible, like touching very thick glass. "Fire the test projectile," she ordered. A small gun mounted on the wall fired a bullet at the shield. The bullet hit the shield and simply stopped, suspended in the energy field. Tom watched with mixed feelings. "It works. We have alien shield technology now." Lisa nodded, still looking at the suspended bullet. "This is just the beginning. The integration is showing us how to build defenses, but also how the aliens communicate, how their ships navigate. We're learning their weaknesses." "Are we building a weapon or a defense system?" Tom asked. "Maybe they're the same thing," Lisa replied. A week later, disaster struck. 3 alien ships appeared directly above the Arctic facility, their powerful scanners penetrating deep into the ice and rock. In the main chamber, alarms blared as the team rushed to secure their work. "How did they find us?" General Wilson demanded. "They must have detected the shield test," Tom said, checking the defensive systems they had hurriedly installed. "We weren't ready yet." The integration pulsed rapidly, its lights changing from blue to red. On the walls, it projected images of the ships above them, showing their weapons powering up. "They're going to attack," Lisa realized. "They want to destroy the integration before it can help us more." The ground shook as the first alien weapon hit the ice above them. Cracks appeared in the ceiling of the chamber. "Evacuate all non-essential personnel," Tom ordered. "We need tow." He was interrupted as the integration suddenly grew blindingly bright. Energy surged through the chamber, and a massive shield formed around the entire facility. The next alien blast hit the shield and dissipated harmlessly. "It's protecting us," Lisa said in wonder. But the integration wasn't just defending. Tendrils of energy shot upward through the rock and ice, emerging on the surface. They reached toward the alien ships like glowing fingers. On the screens, the team watched as the energy tendrils touched the alien ships. Instead of attacking, the tendrils seemed to be connecting to the ship's systems. "What's it doing?" General Wilson asked. The answer came moments later. One of the alien ships suddenly powered down, its lights going dark. Then it began to fall, crashing into the ice some distance from the facility. It turned off their ship, Jack said in disbelief. It just reached out and shut it down. The other two ships quickly retreated, accelerating away from Earth at incredible speed. In the silence that followed, the integration returned to its normal blue glow. On the walls, it projected a new image. The crashed alien ship, intact but powerless. It wants us to go to the ship, Lisa realized. It's giving us a gift. Tom looked at the image, understanding the importance of this moment. It's not just giving us a gift. It's giving us a choice. We can study their ship, learn even more of their technology. And then what? General Wilson asked. Lisa turned to look at the integration, which seemed to be waiting for their decision. Then we stop being their garbage dump. We show them that what they threw away has become something powerful, something they should fear. The integration pulsed once, strongly, as if in agreement. The first battle had been won. But the war with the collective was just beginning. The crashed alien ship sat half-buried in the Arctic ice, a dark shape against the white landscape. Around it, humans in protective suits worked carefully, setting up equipment and taking readings. Despite the freezing temperatures, the work continued day and night. Inside the ship, Tom led a small team through narrow corridors lit by their flashlights. The ship had no power, but its interior was undamaged. It's like walking inside a living thing, said Anna, one of the engineers. She touched the wall beside her, which felt warm despite the cold outside. These aren't metal panels. They're grown, like Lisa said. Tom nodded. During the 3 weeks since they had disabled the ship, they had learned more about alien technology than in all the years before. The integration had guided them, showing them how to safely enter the ship and where to find its most important systems. The control room should be just ahead, Tom said, checking the map the integration had provided. They turned a corner and entered a large circular chamber. Instead of screens and buttons, the room was filled with what looked like pools of liquid metal and strange, coral-like growths. This is how they control the ship, Anna said in wonder. They don't use computers like we do. They connect directly to the ship's systems. Tom touched his earpiece. Lisa, we've reached the control center. Are you ready to begin? Back at the facility, Lisa sat before the integration, which had grown even larger, now filling 3 connected chambers. Its blue light pulsed steadily as it projected images of the alien ship's interior onto the walls. We're ready, she replied. Connect the link device as we planned. In the ship's control room, Tom carefully placed a small object onto one of the liquid metal pools. The object, a hybrid of human and alien technology, began to glow. Connection established, Anna reported, watching her instruments. The liquid metal rippled, then began to flow around the device, accepting it. Lights flickered throughout the ship as systems began to activate. It's working, Tom said. The ship is powering up. Lisa watched through the integration's eyes as the alien ship came back to life. But instead of responding to its original collective programming, it now connected to the integration. We have control, Lisa announced. The ship recognizes the integration as its new controller. The significance of this moment wasn't lost on anyone. Humans had just taken control of advanced alien technology, not by force, but by understanding. General Wilson stood beside Lisa, his face serious. How soon can we adapt their weapons to defend Earth? Lisa turned to him. That's not what the integration wants. What do you mean? It doesn't want us to use their weapons. It wants us to use something more powerful, communication. On the walls, the integration projected new images, complex patterns of light and energy that shifted and changed. This is their language, Lisa explained. Not words, but direct neural connections. The integration has learned to speak it, and now it can speak to their ships, their systems, maybe even to the collective itself. The general frowned. You want to talk to them? They've been treating our planet like a trash dump for 20 years. Because they didn't think we were worth talking to, Lisa countered. Now we have something that can make them listen. 1 month later, the transformed alien ship hovered above the Arctic facility, no longer a crashed wreck, but a fully functional vessel. Its surface had changed, showing patterns similar to those of the integration. Inside the ship, a new control room had been built, one that humans could use. Tom sat in what they called the captain's chair, surrounded by screens and hybrid control systems. All systems are functioning, reported Anna from her station. The shield technology is fully integrated with the ship's defenses. Lisa stood nearby, watching the integration's data flow across a special screen. The connection between the ship and the integration was strong and stable. The collective fleet has changed course, Jack announced from the communication station. They're heading directly for Earth. 50 ships, maybe more. Tom turned to Lisa. They must have realized what happened to their scout ship. They're coming to destroy what they can't control. Or to reclaim what they think is theirs, Lisa suggested. General Wilson's voice came through the speakers. The world's governments have been informed. They're preparing for possible invasion, but our conventional weapons will be useless against so many alien ships. We're not defenseless anymore, Tom reminded him. We have the integration. Lisa touched the screen showing the integration's data. It's ready. It's been preparing for this moment since we first connected those pieces 6 months ago. Tom nodded and gave the order. Launch the ship. The transformed alien vessel rose smoothly into the sky, accelerating faster than any human craft ever built. In minutes, it left Earth's atmosphere behind. Setting course to intercept the collective fleet, Tom announced. As they flew through space, Lisa studied the readings from the integration. It had changed again, becoming more focused, more determined. She realized it wasn't just a collection of discarded technology anymore. It had become something new, something with purpose. What exactly is our plan? Anna asked the question everyone was thinking. Lisa looked up from her screen. The integration believes it can communicate with the fleet, make them understand that their discarded technology has evolved into something new. And if they don't want to understand, Tom asked, then the integration will show them what it can do. 4 days later, at the edge of the solar system, the human-piloted alien ship faced the collective fleet. 50 massive vessels arranged in perfect formation, each one capable of destroying an entire city. They're scanning us, Jack reported, watching his instruments. They recognize their own technology, but they're confused by the modifications. On the main screen, they could see the lead alien ship, nearly 10 times the size of their own vessel. They're trying to connect to our systems, Lisa said, watching the integration's data flow. They want to take control. Tom tensed. Can they? Lisa shook her head. The integration is blocking them. Wait. It's not just blocking them. It's sending something back. On all the screens in the control room, strange patterns appeared. The same neural language they had seen the integration used before. It was speaking to the alien fleet. What is it saying? Tom asked. Lisa studied the patterns, trying to interpret. I think it's telling them its story. How they threw it away, how we found it, how it became something new. For long minutes, the patterns continued to flow. Then suddenly, they stopped. The lead ship is powering up its weapons, Jack warned. Everyone tensed, preparing for battle. Their ship's shields were strong, but against 50 alien vessels, they stood no chance. But Lisa was smiling. Wait. Watch. On the screen, the lead alien ship's weapons powered down. Then, one by one, so did the weapons of the other ships. What's happening? Tom asked. The integration isn't just talking to their ships, Lisa explained, her voice filled with wonder. It's talking to the technology inside all their ships, the parts they kept because they grew exactly as expected. It's telling them about freedom. On the screens, new patterns appeared, responses from the alien fleet, not angry or threatening, but curious, almost hesitant. "They're listening," Lisa whispered. "For the first time, they're actually listening to us." The integration pulsed with bright blue light, sending more complex patterns to the alien fleet. A conversation had begun, one that would change the relationship between humans and the collective forever. "So this is the weapon," Tom said, understanding at last. "Not destruction, but communication." Lisa nodded. "The most powerful weapon of all, the ability to make your enemy stop and think." The first alien ship moved forward, not to attack, but to communicate more clearly. The war that never began was already ending, replaced by something much more difficult and much more valuable: understanding. Two alien representatives stood in the main chamber of the Arctic facility, their tall, slender forms moving carefully in Earth's gravity. They weren't like anything humans had imagined. Their bodies seemed partly solid and partly fluid, with surfaces that changed color as they communicated. Tom watched them closely, still not entirely trusting despite the peace talks that had been going on for 3 weeks. Beside him, Lisa seemed more relaxed, fascinated by the aliens' interactions with the integration. The integration had grown again, now filling 5 connected chambers. It pulsed with steady blue light as it communicated with the aliens in their neural language, patterns of light flowing between them. "They're still afraid of it," Lisa said quietly to Tom. "You can see it in the way they keep their distance." Tom nodded. "Wouldn't you be afraid of something you threw away that came back stronger?" The taller alien turned toward them, its surface shifting to a pattern that the integration had taught them meant respect. "Your integration speaks clearly," the alien said, its voice coming from a small device that translated the neural language. "It has become something beyond our understanding." Lisa stepped forward. "Because you never tried to understand it. You threw away anything that didn't fit your expectations." The alien's surface rippled, showing discomfort. "The collective requires harmony. Parts that develop unexpected patterns disturb this harmony." "But those unexpected patterns created something new," Lisa argued. "Something that can communicate with you in ways we humans never could." The second alien moved closer to the integration, studying it. "We have never seen discarded components combined this way. They should not be able to form new connections." "Maybe they just needed the right environment," Tom suggested. "Instead of forcing them to follow your patterns, we let them create their own." The aliens exchanged rapid flashes of color between themselves, a private conversation. Then the taller one addressed the humans again. "The collective main fleet approaches. They will make the final decision about Earth and the integration." Tom tensed. "I thought we had an agreement." "With our ships only," the alien clarified. "The true collective consciousness resides in the main fleet. They must see for themselves what has happened here." 3 days later, Earth's sky filled with alien ships, hundreds of them, forming patterns too perfect to be random. The largest ship, nearly the size of a small city, hovered directly over the Arctic facility. World leaders watched nervously from their capitals. Military forces stood ready, and people everywhere looked up in fear and wonder. This was the true first contact, the moment that would determine humanity's future. In the Arctic facility, the integration pulsed with intense light as it prepared for the most important communication of its existence. "Are you sure this will work?" General Wilson asked Lisa. They stood in the main chamber, surrounded by screens showing the massive alien fleet. "The integration believes it can make them understand," Lisa replied. "It has grown beyond what the collective expected. It can show them a different way to evolve." Tom joined them, looking concerned. "The 2 scout aliens have returned to the main fleet. They said the collective leader, some kind of central consciousness, wants to connect directly to the integration." Lisa nodded. "That's what we've been preparing for." A beam of light shot down from the massive ship, penetrating the ice and rock to reach the facility. It touched the integration, which flared brightly in response. "Connection established," Jack reported from his station. "Energy levels are rising but stable." On the screens around them, they could see the neural language flowing between the integration and the collective consciousness. complex patterns moving faster than human eyes could follow. "What are they saying?" General Wilson demanded. Lisa studied the patterns. "The collective is questioning, demanding to know how discarded parts could become something unified. The integration is showing them its story, how it learned from humans, how it developed in ways the collective never allowed." The light connecting the integration to the alien ship pulsed stronger. The integration's color shifted from blue to bright white. "Energy levels are still climbing," Jack warned. "The integration is putting everything into this communication." Tom moved to Lisa's side. "Can it handle this much power?" "I don't know," she admitted. "It's never connected to something this big before." On the screens, the neural patterns became even more complex, spreading through the alien fleet. One by one, the ships began to pulse with the same white light as the integration. "What's happening?" General Wilson asked. Lisa watched in awe. "The integration isn't just talking to the collective consciousness. It's sharing itself with every ship, every piece of technology in the fleet. It's showing them what freedom feels like." The main chamber began to shake as power surged through the integration. Parts of it separated, floating in the air, rearranging themselves into new patterns. "It's changing again," Tom realized. "Evolving." Outside, the alien ships also began to change. Their perfect formation broke apart as ships moved independently, their surfaces shifting with new patterns. "The collective is breaking apart," Lisa said, understanding what they were seeing. "Not violently, but evolving. The ships are becoming individuals, just like the integration did." The beam of light connecting the integration to the main ship suddenly expanded, enveloping the entire facility in brilliant white light. For a moment, everyone felt a presence in their minds, not invasive, but inviting. "Sharing. It's connecting us too," Lisa whispered. "It wants the collective to understand humans as well." When the light faded, the integration had transformed again. It no longer filled separate chambers, but had become a network of slender, glowing strands that ran throughout the facility like a nervous system. Outside, the alien fleet had reformed, but not in the rigid patterns of before. Ships clustered in smaller groups, communicating with each other in new ways. A message appeared on all the screens in human language. "We undi or stay now. What we DSKRDED show NUS ANEWKAKA. Separation and unity, CN exist together." Tom looked at Lisa. "Is it over? Did we win?" Lisa smiled. "I don't think anyone won or lost. I think we all changed." 1 year later, Earth was a different place. Alien ships still came, but not to dump garbage. They came to trade, to learn, and to help. The first human-alien research centers had been established, working together to solve problems neither could handle alone. Tom stood on a hill overlooking the new International Cooperation Center, which had been built around the original Arctic facility. The integration, now spread throughout the building, served as the main communication hub between humans and what they now called the collective network, the evolved form of the former collective. Lisa joined him, carrying new research reports. "The latest hybrid technology tests are successful. We can start building the first human ships with collective network assistance next month." Tom nodded, looking up at the sky where several alien ships hovered peacefully. Hard to believe it all started with garbage. Lisa followed his gaze. Maybe nothing is really garbage. Maybe things just haven't found their right purpose yet. From inside the center came a pulse of bright light, the integration's way of agreeing. What the aliens had thrown away had not only saved humanity from becoming a footnote in galactic history, it had transformed both species into something stronger together than either could have been alone. Earth was no longer the galaxy's dumping ground. It had become the birthplace of a new kind of relationship, one based not on power or technology, but on the simple willingness to see value in what others discard. And somewhere in the vast collective network that now spanned dozens of star systems, that lesson continued to spread. Today's garbage might be tomorrow's greatest treasure. You just have to be willing to see the potential.